presents Rules Made Easy. The original author of Rules Made Easy was American League umpire Nick Bremigan.
My name is Nick Bremigan. I'm an American League umpire, have been for 15 years. I've been 20 years altogether in professional baseball.
Bremigan was an American League umpire from 1974 to 1989. Tragically, Nick died of heart failure in 1989. Known as a master of the rules of baseball and one of the best at applying them to the game, Nick developed a formula for understanding and enforcing the basic rules of baseball. There are many names for Nick's system, but it's really just baseball rules made easy by circles. Now brought to you in video form, Rules Made Easy will guide you through this ingenious format and will make it even easier to understand. Here's how the system works. Each situation is either in the home plate on the page or in a box. The elements of the situations are broken down into a series of circles. Following the red dot to these circles will take you to explanations of each situation with animated graphics or live action video that will help you to understand the rule and its enforcement. The rule number is in the respective circle. The whole idea of Rules Made Easy is to make it easier to apply the rules of baseball to the game of baseball. It's based on and cross-referenced with the official rules of baseball. So enjoy and learn from Rules Made Easy, as we also dedicate this video to the man and genius of Nicholas G. Bremigan. Now let's start with a catch. By rule, to have a catch in baseball, you must have secure possession. This would be secure possession. You must have complete control of the ball. Complete control of the ball means the fielder does not bobble, juggle, or drop the ball. Pinning the ball against your body is also complete control of the ball. And most important to ruling a catch, you must have voluntary release. Voluntary release is determined by either taking the ball out of the glove with the bare hand, or obviously releasing the ball from the glove only, like on this catch. And it is a catch if the fielder drops the ball in the act of throwing. The one call that is questioned the most is when this happens around second base on a pivot or double play. Here's one guideline you can use. Notice that the ball drops straight down. The fielder never had control of it and was not in the act of throwing, so no catch. But if the ball flies backwards, this might indicate the ball was being taken out of the glove trying to get the quick throw to first, or in other words, in the act of throwing. Here we see it again. Notice this time that the direction of the ball is now going backwards, so this would be in the act of throwing. Remember, this is only a guideline. A couple of things to remember here. It's no catch if the fielder drops the ball as a result of a collision or falling. So if the fielder secures possession, has complete control of the ball during the tumble, but then loses it upon impact with the ground, this would be ruled no catch. As we see another play, keep in mind the best key phrase here is they must survive the crash. And it's no catch if the ball touches an offensive player, the ground, a fence, or an umpire. So, if it touches an offensive player, like a runner, the ground, a fence, or an umpire first, it would be no catch. The foul tip. A foul tip is determined if the ball is sharp and direct from the bat to the catcher's hand or mitt. This would be a demonstration of the ball going sharp and direct from the bat to the catcher's mitt. If there's any arc involved, it would be ruled a foul ball. A foul tip must be caught by the catcher. In the professional and NCAA rulebook, the foul tip must be caught by the catcher. But Federation or high school rules state if the ball is subsequently caught by any fielder, it is a foul tip. A foul tip is a strike. Any ball that is batted sharp and direct into the catcher's hand or mitt and is caught is a strike. When a ball is ruled a foul tip, the ball remains alive. For instance, here, when there's a foul tip, the ball would remain alive as the runner is attempting to steal second base. Runners are in jeopardy or can be tagged out. Using this same demonstration, the ball is foul-tipped, the runner is attempting to steal. The ball remains alive and the runner can be put out. It's not a catch if on a rebound, unless it first hits the catcher's hand or mitt. What we mean by this is that the ball must first touch the catcher's hand or mitt before anybody can catch it. If it makes contact with anything else first, it would be ruled a foul ball, not a foul tip. Repeat, it is not a catch unless it first hits the catcher's hand or mitt. So pay attention because it happens fast. Illegal pitch. There are only two actions that cause an illegal pitch. Pitching with pivot foot not in contact with rubber. Here's an obvious example of the pitcher pitching with his foot not in contact, in fact, way in front of the rubber. The other type of illegal pitch is a quick return pitch, or what's known as quick pitch. Here's one example of a quick pitch, demonstrated with a runner on base. The pitcher does not come set before delivering the ball to the plate. If there is an illegal pitch, it's a ball if the bases are unoccupied. As an umpire, here's how you would enforce it.
Oh, 1 ball, no strikes, 1-0. That's a quick pitch. Time. That's a quick pitch with nobody on. That's 1 ball. 2-0 now.
If an illegal pitch occurs with any runners on base, it is a balk. This is how the rule would be enforced.
That's a balk! Time. That's a quick pitch with a runner on base. That's a balk. Runner, second base.
In this case, it's no pitch because of the balk call. If the batter and all runners advance at least 1 base each, then you ignore the illegal pitch penalty. Infield fly rule.
Infield fly, better dog.
The first element required is that it must be a fair fly ball. The ball must be in fair territory, and it must have an arc on it. An infield fly rule cannot be a bunt or a line drive. If the batter either bunts the ball or the batter hits a line drive with no arc, these cannot be ruled as an infield fly. Another important element is it must be ordinary effort by the fielder. Here are some guidelines for that. One way to recognize ordinary effort is if the fielder is squaring and facing his shoulders toward the infield as he camps out under the fly ball.
Infield fly, infield fly.
This would be ordinary effort. If the fielder is still running away as they catch it, it probably is not ordinary effort. Again, these are just guidelines. An infield fly rule can only be called with runners on first and second or bases loaded. So remember that infield fly situations only occur with runners on first and second or bases loaded. Also, for an infield fly rule, there must be less than 2 outs. An infield fly rule can only be called with 0 or 1 out. An infield fly can be caught by any fielder. In this infield fly situation, you'll see that the center fielder comes in to catch the ball. It was ruled an infield fly in flight, therefore any fielder can catch it. The results of the infield fly rule include the batter is out. It eliminates all force plays, which is why there's an infield fly rule, to protect the runners. Keep this in mind when calling the tough ones. In regards to the runners, it's the same as any other fly balls, except the base protects the runner hit by an infield fly. On this play, the runner is in contact with the base when struck by what had already been ruled an infield fly. The runner would have been out if not for the infield fly rule called. Delayed dead ball situations are those that you call the infraction, but delay calling time or enforcing the penalty until you see the result of the play. There are 5 of these situations. Let's take a look at the first one. Catcher's interference, followed by a batted ball.
That's interference. That's catcher's interference. The man got a base hit. We ignore the interference.
The next situation where you delay calling time is batter's interference, followed by a play or throw.
That's interference. Time. We got batter's interference. The runner was out, so he's still out.
Another delayed dead ball situation is plate umpire's interference, followed by a throw.
That's interference. Time. We got umpire's interference. The runner's still on at second base. He's out.
Number 4 would be a balk, followed by a pitch or throw. On this play, the pitcher commits a balk while throwing to first on a pickoff, creating a delayed dead ball situation, allowing the runner to advance past the base to which he would have been awarded for the balk. But since he went past the base he was awarded and was thrown out, he's out. The last delayed dead ball situation is obstruction, Rule 706, the B part of the rule only. Here, the batter runner is obstructed rounding first base. Because no play is being made on the obstructed runner, the play would proceed until no further action. Dead ball, runners advance 1 base. It is a dead ball, and all runners advance 1 base when a balk is called, not followed by a pitch or play.
That's a ball! Time! You, second base.
Another dead ball situation where a runner would advance one base is a runner attempting to steal on a pitch which catcher's interference occurs. When catcher's interference occurs, the batter would be awarded first base and only runners stealing on the pitch or forced would advance.
That's interference. Time. We got catcher's interference, batter, first base.
The only way a runner would move up in this situation is if the runner at second was stealing on the pitch with catcher's interference called. And in the unlikely case of a pitched ball lodging in the umpire's mask or equipment, the ball is dead and all runners advance one base.
Time!
It is also a dead ball and all runners advance one base if a pitched or thrown ball by the pitcher from the rubber goes into dead territory. Here are a few examples of the most common ones, like on a pickoff.
Time! Runner, second base.
Or a ball that gets stuck in the backstop.
Time! Runner, second base.
Or a ball that goes into the dugout.
Time! Runner, second base. Ball went to the dugout.
Ball's dead and runners advance one base anytime a fielder, after catching a ball, falls down in dead territory. Anytime a fielder catches a ball and falls down either in the stands, dugout, or dead territory, the ball's dead and the runners advance one base. And here's a wild one. The pitch touches the runner trying to score. In the rare occasion that a legal pitch actually touches a runner attempting to steal home, the ball is dead and runners advance one base, not including the batter runner, just runners on base. And did you know you still must make your normal ball or strike call on this play? Good luck with that one. Dead ball, runners return. Here are your dead ball situations in which the runners would return. First, the obvious one. A foul ball not caught.
Held low.
An illegally batted ball is another dead ball runners return situation. One example would be hitting the ball with one's foot out of the batter's box at the point of contact, like this example where the batter's foot is touching the plate.
Time! That's an illegally batted ball. Foot was touching the plate. Batter's out.
It is also a dead ball and runners return if there's plate umpire's interference, unless the base runner is thrown out. Here's the umpire's interference. Now here's the call.
That's interference. Time! We got umpire's interference. The runner's still out at second base. He's out.
Another dead ball runner's return situation is batter interference, unless the runner is thrown out.
One. That's interference. Time! We got batter's interference. The runner was out, so he's still out.
If the runner was not out, the runner would return and the batter would be called out. It is a dead ball and runners return anytime you have offensive interference by a base runner. Let's watch. If a runner interferes with a fielder making a play, this would be offensive interference. The runner is called out, and any other runners would return. Here's another example of offensive interference. A batted ball hits the runner. He's called out, and any runners ahead of him would return.
That's interference. Time. He's up. Batter. First base.
And finally, if a batter were called out for batting out of turn, the runners would return. Dead ball, runners return unless forced. The circles now tell us of the situations that have the runners return unless forced to advance, such as any fair batted ball that strikes a runner or umpire. Any fair batted ball that strikes a runner would be interference. Only the runners that would be forced to would advance.
That's interference. Time. He's up. Batter. First base.
Any fair batted ball that strikes an umpire would be interference. Only the runners that are forced to would advance.
Time. That's umpire's interference. You got second. Batter. First base.
And in the case of catcher's interference, when catcher's interference occurs, only the runners that are forced to advance shall, not all runners.
That's interference. Time. We got catcher's interference. Batter. First base.
And even in the painful case of a hit batsman.
Time.
Only the runners that are forced to move up. Let's clear up a myth before we get started on this one. There's no such thing as 1 + 1 in the basic rules of baseball. It's either a 1-base award or a 2-base award, enforced either from the time of the pitch or the time of the throw. Okay, now we can start. Here are the situations where you would award 2 bases from time of pitch. A thrown ball into dead territory on first play by an infielder. The batter hits a ground ball to the shortstop. The shortstop's throw to first base is the first play by an infielder. When the ball gets overthrown and goes out of play, the award of bases would be 2 bases from the time of the pitch, and the batter runner is awarded second base. It is also 2 bases from the time of the pitch when the fielder deflects a wild pitch into dead territory while retrieving it. Here, the catcher deflects the ball in the direction of the dugout. In his attempt to retrieve the ball, his action causes the ball to go into the dugout or dead territory. Here's how you would rule on that.
Time! He kicked it in the dugout. That's 2 bases. Runner, third base.
It is 2 bases from the time of the pitch. When a fair batted ball bounces over or flies through a fence, this is what is known as a ground rule double. But really, it's just 2 bases from the time of the pitch. Whether a fair batted ball bounds over the fence or through the fence, it's the same call, ground rule double. It's also 2 bases from the time of the pitch when a fair batted ball is deflected into dead territory. Anytime a fair batted ball is deflected into dead territory, no matter how long it takes or where the runner is when the ball goes dead, it's still a ground rule double, or 2 bases from the time of pitch. These plays will be situations where you award 2 bases from the time of throw. Thrown ball into dead territory on second play by an infielder. Besides a double play, here's an example of another common second play by an infielder. With a runner on second base, the shortstop's play to first base on the batter runner is the first play by an infielder. As the runner takes off to third, the first baseman's throw to third base is the second play by an infielder. The throw goes into dead territory, and the award is 2 bases from the time of throw.
Time!
It is also 2 bases from the time of the throw on a thrown ball into dead territory by an outfielder. Anytime an outfielder throws a ball into dead territory like this, it is a 2-base award from the time of throw.
Time! Time!
Thrown ball into dead territory by any fielder if the batter runner and all runners have advanced 1 base each. Here's one example of that. With a runner on first, the batter runner singles to right field. The fielder throws the ball to third base, but the ball is cut off and thrown back to first base behind the batter runner who had already rounded the bag. The ball goes out of play and it's 2 bases from the time of the throw. And since both runners had advanced 1 base, the runner from second base scores, the batter runner is awarded third. Any relay throw that goes into dead territory by any fielder, also 2 base awards from the time of throw. In this demonstration, the relay throw is not on the play going home, but back to first base. If this ball should go into dead territory, it would be 2 bases from the time of throw. There are plays where you ignore the infraction if everybody moves up 1 base. Plays which proceed without reference to an infraction, provided the batter and/or runners each advance at least 1 base. Catcher's interference, followed by a batted ball, would be 1.
That's interference! That's catcher's interference. The man got a base hit. We ignore the interference.
Another play that proceeds without reference to an infraction is a balk, followed by a pitch or throw. Here, the pitcher balks, but the batter gets a base hit. If the batter reaches first base, the play would proceed without reference to the balk. Another play would be an illegal pitch, followed by a batted ball. With the pitcher's foot not touching the rubber, it's an obvious illegal pitch.
The man got a base hit. We ignore the illegal pitch.
Even if the obscure one happened and the pitcher touching hand to mouth in the 18-foot circle,
Pitcher went to his mouth on the dirt.
if this were followed by a batted ball, it would be another play that might proceed without reference to an infraction. There are a lot of different interpretations about the hand-to-mouth rule, so again, check with your local association to clarify the ruling at your level. Okay, buckle your seatbelts, because the circles are now taking you to obstruction. If this information seems like a lot to take in at once, you're right. But be assured that if you play it over and over, it will become very easy. If you break it into the A part of the rule and the B part of the rule. With this head start, let's begin. There are 2 aspects to the A part of the rule. Let's start with obstruction on a batter runner before he touches first base. Here's a demonstration of obstruction on the batter-runner before he reaches first base.
That's obstruction! Time! That's obstruction, runner, first base.
Now let's break it down. If you have obstruction on the batter-runner before he reaches first base, A, time is called at the moment of obstruction.
That's obstruction! Time!
B, batter-runner is awarded first base.
That's obstruction, runner, first base.
Other runners would advance one base if forced, or if not forced, advance or return according to umpire's judgment. The other part of the A rule is, if obstruction occurs while a play is being made on an obstructed runner. Here's an example of obstruction on a rundown. This is where it commonly occurs.
Obstruction! Time! That's obstruction, runner, score.
Now let's break this one down. If obstruction happens while a play is being made on the obstructed runner, A, time is called at the moment of obstruction.
Obstruction! Time!
B, obstructed runner is awarded at least one base.
That's obstruction, runner, score.
Other runners would advance one base if forced, or if not forced, would advance or return according to umpire's judgment. In both of these cases of the A part of the rule, time is called at the moment of obstruction. In the B part of the rule, or all other obstructions, you would let play proceed until a play is being made on the obstructed runner, or until no further action is possible. Here's an example of that type of obstruction. Batter hits a ball to right field and is obstructed rounding first base. You would let the play continue until they made a play on the obstructed runner or no further action. Now let's break this down. If you have obstruction and a play is not being made on the runner and it is not before first base, obstruction is called, but the play continues. All other runners would advance or return according to umpire's judgment. So remember, play is being made on obstructed runner or on batter before he reaches first base. It's time at the moment of obstruction. All other obstruction, the play continues.
I think a lot of people ask me, what is your most embarrassing moment in baseball?